concrete walls. There's a place for us where we could go, where we could be alone. Between city lights, we don't have to hide. I wanna go, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? I can't understand why we can't hold hands, but they don't know what we have is real love. Aren't you sick and tired of having to hide? I know a place, do you wanna follow? There's something in the air, I can't explain it, but it's there. Ain't nobody gonna find us in our secret love affair. I don't wanna have to hide no more, it shouldn't be unfair. I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow? Do you wanna follow? Baby, do you wanna follow? Come with me, do you wanna follow? Baby, can't you see that? I wanna go, and I wanna know, do you wanna follow?
What's up, you guys? Welcome to the live stream. I'm so glad to be here with you on a Sunday? What is it? Sunday afternoon? It's Sunday. Yes. Sorry if my brain is a little out of it. I had leftover extra super spicy Indian food for breakfast, and I'm still a little bit flushed. Here's what I've always wondered, and maybe somebody here can tell me, somebody who is, because this is, after all, this is the non-American time zone stream, where we stream in the middle of the afternoon, so more people. But I'm pretty sure that India is far enough east that it's still the middle of the night for them. But here's what I want to know. When you go to a restaurant and you order, they're like, how hot do you want it? And you have the choice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then there's like Thai hot or Indian hot. I know that traditionally Thai food, Indian food, Jamaican food, various cultures have a lot more spicy food than Americans do. But when you order it Thai hot, does that mean actually make it as hot as Thai people eat it, or does that just mean hurt me, I'm a stupid American? I've always wondered this. Because I like hot food, and I usually order the Thai hot or the Indian hot, because I'm like, you know what? Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Go ahead, I dare you. Because normally when I order hot food at a restaurant, it's not that hot. And I'm not a super spice head. Like, I don't just... Habaneros, I'm fine. Ghost peppers, that's about my limit. I don't eat a bunch of ghost pepper hot. I'm like, have like a little bit, and then I'm like, I gotta sit on this. So I'm not a spice head. But restaurants usually just don't serve very spicy food. And so I usually order it Thai hot or Indian hot. And most of the time, it's not that hot. It's like, sometimes I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I can taste it. But every so often you order it Thai hot or Indian hot, and it just like kills me. And I always wonder, and I want to know the answer. If you know the answer, if you out there have lived in Thailand or India or one of the countries like that, is the food really that hot? Because it seems inedible. Like the one or two times when I've gone, yeah, give it to me Thai hot. And they're like, okay, you got it. And I get it and I'm like, oh my God, I can barely eat this. Is that actually how hot they eat it? And they're just used to it? Or is the restaurant just trying to punish me? These are the thoughts I have after having breakfast this morning. Because I ordered this, we got this Indian food and there was some leftovers. And I ordered it Indian hot, quote unquote, Indian hot. That's off the menu. I didn't make that up. And I liked it. It was enjoyably hot. So, there you go. I'm trying to look at the answers now. Because, like, here's the thing. Hang on a second. We gotta switch cameras. I gotta get sincere now. Hi, welcome to the live stream. Here's the thing. If I knew, like, I'm interested in the cultural experience. If I go to eat Thai food, I understand that I'm probably not getting like ultra authentic Thai food in Knoxville, right? I understand that. But I would like, if there's a particular way that the dish is prepared, I'd like to try it the way that it should be prepared. I'd like to have the experience. And so if that's how hot they make it, by God, that's how hot I want it. But if it's just like, hurt me, I'm a dumb American, I don't know. I don't feel the same about that. So, Indian. I am literally talking about East Asian Indians. I'm talking about Indians, not American Indians, Native Americans. Try harder. Petey Puff says, it is that hot. My wife is from Vietnam. They eat it just as hot. I'm Haitian. We are notoriously hot food eaters. It's all true. So what you're saying, what you guys are telling me is that the experience that I had where I got quote unquote Thai hot and I literally like had one bite and had to stop. That's just normal food for some people some of the time in Thailand. Yeah. Shrey Gupta, with a name like Shrey Gupta, makes me think you might know what you're talking about Indian food. Shrey Gupta says Indian food isn't normally super hot. There are spicy dishes, but most of it's fairly edible. Yeah. That's the other thing I want to know. Because, like, if there's an American stereotype about Indian food being hot, and so the restaurant is like, fine, you want it hot, we'll make it hot. But that's not actually how it's supposed to be made. I'd rather have a more authentic experience than just have you dose it up because there's this stereotype. I just don't know the difference. I don't know the difference. I don't know how I would know. I'm asking on my live stream. Anyway. I'd love to go on hot ones, Brandon Woodford. I would love to go on hot ones. I don't think I am or probably ever will be notable enough to make the cut where Sean Evans would interview me. It would be cool if I was, but I don't think I ever will be. But Sean Evans is a great interviewer. So, anyway, that's me this morning. Welcome to the live stream, everybody. I'm going to be taking your questions. I'm going to be taking your questions here in the chat. Yep, I'll be taking your questions. Yes, sir. Cool Cat says, I promise you they don't eat super hot food. Are there any traditional Native American hot peppers? I'm not sure about that, Captain Bry. I'm pretty sure that the hot peppers that we eat today are relatively modern. Because, like, obviously jalapenos like hot peppers are a South American thing for sure. But a lot of the peppers we have today have been specifically bred to fit this trend of people making hotter and hotter peppers. So if you go back in time, what hot peppers existed 100 years ago, 200 years ago, probably jalapenos, habaneros. I don't know when they were bred, but I bet there weren't as many as there are today. I'm pretty sure about that. So I'm going to be taking your questions about, usually about FPV. I'll be taking your questions here in the chat. Feel free to ask questions in the chat. I will be grabbing some of the ones that catch my eye. I'll be taking questions from these beautiful people here in the Discord. Hey, Discord. These guys are my patrons. They make it possible for me to keep paying my bills, and I sure do appreciate them. One of the ways I appreciate them is to put them up on the stream. And if you want to make sure I read your question, if I missed your question or anything, hit the $ right down here. Leave a super chat, and that'll make sure I read your question. I'll be reading those a little later in the stream. So, but we're going to start off taking some questions from the. Oh, I love Stitch. I love Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and Stitch is one of my favorite movies. I have to tell you. You know that? It really is. It's a movie about intentional family, about non-traditional families, about how you can take people you love and you care about and make a family with them, even if you're not necessarily fitting into a traditional mold. And yeah, that's a good family. That's a good movie. Thank you for that. Let's take a question here. Let's talk about the backwards compatibility. Let's talk about that. Paul Nurkala said that the DJI Goggles 2 were going to have backwards compatibility, and Drew Camden said the same thing. So here's what I think we can take from that. Originally, DJI released the Goggles 2 without backwards compatibility to the Vista and the Air unit. And then they said, we might do it in the future. We don't know. And my reaction was, that means nothing. I stand by that. When DJI says we might do it, I mean, they might do it. A lot of things might. I might give away a set of DJI Goggles 2 on this stream. I might. I'm not gonna, but I might, right? When DJI says we might do this, the DJI has a history of suggesting or implying that there's a possibility that in the future a certain feature that people want might be available. And I don't think they're being dishonest. I don't. I'm not accusing them of that. I think that they are sincere in that it's a possibility, but I think people really overestimate the likelihood of things actually happening. They hear, well, we might do this, we're thinking about this, and they're like, oh, it's going to happen. And it's not true. So now what we've got is that two sources with ties to DJI, Paul Nurkala has done many DJI reviews. He has a relationship. Presumably, there is someone at DJI in the sort of marketing team who he has a relationship with. That person has some ties to engineering, because you can't do marketing of a product like this without also having engineering information. And Drew Camden, same situation. Both of them have heard from their source. And by the way, it might be the same guy. We don't know. But at least one, maybe two people in DJI have told them that they can go public with the statement that DJI intends to do this, and they have a December timeframe. I don't quite feel like that's take it to the bank, but that is a much more definitive statement than we might do this if there's interest, perhaps. That to me is like is a 15% chance of it happening. Now that we actually have people on the record saying you can go public with this statement, we are going to do this, and here's a date. that puts it certainly into the at least 51% likely that it's going to happen. Probably more than that, in my opinion. And the other thing I go to is there a way that they can sort of weasel this one so it doesn't turn out as good as you thought it would? Like, I remember asking a contact at DJI whether the V2 FPV goggles would have USB out. And he said yes. And it turned out that what he meant was when you use them with the FPV drone, they'll have USB out, USB video out, not with the air unit and the Vista. And I said, I went public and I said, my source at DJI tells me that the DJI FPV goggles V2 will have USB video out. That was a true statement. And then when they came out and it didn't apply to the air unit and the Vista, only the DJI FPV drone, I was like, wow, I feel like a chump. Like, I sourced it. I didn't ask. You mean, like, I didn't even think that needed to be asked. I thought it was, obviously, that's what I'm asking. That's what, right? Okay, maybe we had a misunderstanding. Okay? Maybe we just had a misunderstanding and I should have been more explicit. So, in a situation like this where DJI says, we are going to give you this feature that you desperately want, the part of me that got burned before says, is there any way that I could be misconstruing this? And they don't mean what I think they mean. But I don't see any way that, I mean, backwards compatibility with the Vista and the air unit seems really straightforward. So, ultimately, I think that I would still wait. If I wasn't like when the O3 air unit comes out, I want to review it. I don't think I'm going to be making content about the Avata just because it doesn't really interest me that much. But I'm super interested in the O3 air unit, which will be used on FPV drones with the new goggles. When that comes out, I'm going to try to get one. I'm going to try to get the new goggles because obviously you want to test the new air unit. You want to test the new goggles. If I wasn't getting those goggles to test them with the new air unit, I would wait until that backwards compatibility rolled out in the December timeframe. It's not that long. And I would see if it plays out. But I will say this. I expect that if backwards compatibility works like we think it will work, like we hope it will work, I expect that I'll be switching to the new goggles full time. I obviously haven't had them on my face yet, so I don't know. But they're smaller, they have OLED screens, they're lighter, and it'll be a single set of goggles that works with all DJI, the new air unit and the old, and that to me seems like a good deal. So that's my take on that. That's my take on that. That is true. Aerobrat reminds me that I said that anybody who bought the goggles based on my statement that they would have video out, that I would buy them from you. No one ended up taking me up on that offer, for the record, but I felt bad that I had maybe misled people into buying the goggles specifically for that feature. So. Very exciting. Ghost Branch says, my theory is that they asked for user feedback because they were already planning on doing it anyway, but they wanted it to look like they were paying attention to the FPV community. And yeah, don't know. I stand by my original statement, which was, I'll believe it when it happens. And that doesn't mean I don't think it's going to happen. It just means that I'm not willing to assume it's going to happen before you actually do it. You know what I mean? So that's where I am on that. All right. We got a question has been coming in about setting up LQ on iNav. I don't have a ton of experience on iNav, but does Crossfire, does iNav support It does. This says... let's see here. Signal strength in iNav 3.xx or later. The LQ readout is set up the same way as in Betaflight. So I didn't catch the name of the person who's asking about that. But to set up LQ in iNav, you don't need to do anything. It just reads LQ straight from Crossfire. You do not need to do anything special. You just put LQ in the OSD. Bam, it's working. Bad for life, you can do the RSSI channel trick, but what I'm telling you is you do not need to do it. You do not need to do anything with aux channels or any of that nonsense. In iNav 3 or later, which obviously I would think everybody using it today is on 3 or later, it just reads it directly. You don't need any CLI commands. You don't need any nonsense. It just reads LQ directly, and it just works. So I guess the question I would have for the fellow who's asking this, and again, I don't see it in the chat at this exact moment, why do you think there's some special setup needed? Why don't you just use LQ and it works? Maybe something else is wrong. Make It Fly says, I'm getting 0% throttle and 3D speed, but no LQ readings. Huh. There's a question going around about ExpressLRS and SPI receivers. So ExpressLRS 3.0, if you upgrade your radio to ExpressLRS 3.0, it can't bind to Betaflight 4.3 because Betaflight 4.3 with SPI receivers specifically. Sorry, let me clarify that. If you have an SPI-based receiver running Betaflight 4.3, it has ExpressLRS built into Betaflight, and that is ExpressLRS 2.0, 2.x. If you have 3.x on your module, then it can't bind to Betaflight 4.3 with an SPI-based receiver is the key. So what do you do? There is a nightly build. Where can I find the nightly build? There's a nightly build of Betaflight that has ExpressLRS 3.x built into it. Thank you, eDoc, in the Discord for linking me. Where can I download and flash this, though? So, eDoc, this is the pull request. Where can I actually get this? Is this merged? Is there a place I can get this merged and flash it? Do we need to just download the nightly? Okay. So, we got a download link right here from T4J. Thank you, T4J. Okay, so I'm going to put a link in the chat. This link is a download of a nightly build of Betaflight 4.3. This is only the generic targets. Wow. Okay. It is not a 404. It downloads a zip file. It's 4.4. Okay, okay, great. Here is the comment that contains the download links. I assure you it does work. I mean, it may not be working for you. I assure you the link is valid. Yeah, it downloads a zip file, though. That's why it's not working for you. So if you can't get that to work, here is a link to the comment. And you should be able to get the downloads here. Where are the downloads? Where's the downloads here, though? Anyway, where are they? I don't see them. Link to the comment for the download link. Let me see. This should be the exact comment. Oh, here we go. Assets. This is what you want. This comment is what you want. Be aware that this is nightly code and can have bugs. Got it? But if you download this file, it will have ExpressLRS 3.0 in Betaflight 4.4, and you can flash it. But it's a nightly build, so be careful if you decide to do that. Okay. You can also just buy a second ExpressLRS module if you have the budget for that, and have one on 2 and one on 3. That is an option. That is an option. They are unified targets, so you will need to get the resource assignments from your existing CLI dump. There are definitely steps to jump through. So that's where we're at right now with ExpressLRS 3.0, though. Now, there's another question about ExpressLRS 3.0. People are asking about the flight modes in ExpressLRS 3.0. There's a whole bunch of new packet rates in ELRS 3.0. Let's go through those real quick, okay? Any packet rate that has an F in it is FLRC, which is fast modulation and lower latency, but shorter range. This is the same modulation that's used by Tracer, and it's the same modulation that is used by some of the Ghost link modes. Okay. So FLRC is fast modulation, lower latency, and shorter range. And it comes in 500 hertz and 1000 hertz flavors. So the only reason to use FLRC, or F modulation, in other words, like F500 and F1000, is if you want the lowest possible latency and are willing to tolerate some range loss as a result. In other words, racers might do this. Okay? The D modes. D, they're calling it deja vu. Basically, what the D modes do is they use FLRC, but instead of sending 500 hertz or 1000 hertz packets, they retransmit packets. So the D modes always run at 1000 hertz, but instead of sending 1000 packets per second, they send 4 packets per second. 4 of the same packet, they retransmit it, giving you an effective 250 hertz packet rate, but because they're retransmitting the packets 4 times, it means that it is much less likely that you will get lost packets. In other words, it keeps your LQ perfect. And it doesn't just, it bounces the frequency around as it retransmits the packet. So if there's a little bit of interference on this frequency, it'll retransmit the packet here, 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 and here. And one of those is likely to get through. So the deja vu modes, which come in 250 and 500 hertz, they're for people who want the highest LQ with extremely low jitter, no drop packets whatsoever. Okay? Again, this is using FLRC, so you will have reduced range compared to the other modes. All right? There are 2 modes that give full resolution aux channels running at 100 hertz and 333 hertz. These are the full modes. The purpose of these modes is for people who want to run servos with full 10-bit resolution, or just people who are lazy and don't want to think about the thing is, in ExpressLRS 2.0, they gave you the wide aux channel mode, which gives you 128 positions per aux channel, which is more than almost anybody would need unless you're really just running control surface servos. So for aux modes, you probably don't need this. You probably just can use wide aux channels. But if you want full 10-bit servos, you would use one of the full resolution modes. Okay? And that's about it. Then you've got and then there are the normal modes, which use LoRa or long range, the LoRa technology, and they're going to give you the maximum range and not quite as good a latency as the FLRC modes. So that is an overview of the new modes, the new flight modes in LRS 3.0. The difference in range, you have to think about that difference in range and whether it matters. Cohiba Matt asks, when you say reduced range, is it also reduced penetration? Yes. I want everybody in FPV, everybody in RC needs to understand that range and penetration are almost always the same thing. Think of range as penetration through the air, okay? So anything that reduces your range in clear space will probably also reduce your penetration through obstacles. Okay? Now there are some exceptions to that. That is not universally true, and if somebody wanted to argue with me, they could think of one or two edge cases where range and penetration are where a given thing affects penetration but not range. For example, in the 2.4 gigahertz band, 2.4 gigahertz signals are very close to, I think it's a resonant frequency of the water molecules. And that's why microwave ovens use 2.4 gigahertz signals. They use 2.4 gigahertz frequency to heat the water in your food and heat up your food. So 2.4 gigahertz signals are especially absorbed when penetrating through water. So if you had thick foliage, tree leaves, with water in the leaves, that can absorb a 2.4 gigahertz signal way more proportionally than if you were just going through the air, which doesn't have a lot of water in it. Okay. So there are some situations where range and penetration, and he said, well, I'm going to go to 900 megahertz. 900 megahertz is going to have somewhat more penetration through the air than 2.4 gigahertz. But it's going to have way more penetration through moisture and water than 2.4 gigahertz. So that's an example of a case where penetration and range are not proportional to each other between those two frequencies. Most of the time, though, when we're talking about these modulations in Express LRS, when I say that this modulation gives you less range, it also gives you less penetration. They're the same thing. Okay? Okay. What's the dBm in this script for LoRa versus FLRC modes? Well, I don't have it handy. I think it's a difference of about 12, 13 dB between 50 hertz LoRa and 1000 hertz FLRC. So I think it's about 1/4 the range. That's the rule of thumb. The rule of thumb that I have is that the fastest Express LRS mode, 1000 hertz FLRC, has roughly 1/4 the range of the slowest Express LRS mode, 50 hertz LoRa. Okay. Baboosted FPV says, I could not connect to Betaflight through my Express LRS receiver. Baboosted, you have to be using Express LRS 3.0. I assume you are. You have to be using Crossfire. Currently, it only works with Crossfire, but that's silly because Express LRS always uses Crossfire. Sorry, hold on. And you have to be using Betaflight 4.3. Were you not using Betaflight 4.3? Maybe that would explain it. Okay. All right. Make It Fly says, anyone, please just tell me the right way to get DJI OSD in iNav. LQO. Make It Fly. You want LQ in the DJI OSD. Oh, okay. Does iNav do the aux channel thing, guys? It does. So, this is the tutorial you want, I believe. Yeah. I believe this is the one. Do I show how to set up? Hang on. Yeah, I do. Okay, this is what you want. Who was that? Make sure I tag him so he hears it. Make It Fly. Make It Fly. You got to do the aux channel method like this. Make It Fly says I'm still getting low values. 40, 30, 50. Make It Fly, what did you set the aux channel to? Did you set it to LQ? Did you set it to LQ/? Oh, this is super out of date. It's not even using the TBS Agent Lewis script. Wow. That's super out of date. Did you set it to LQ? Did you set it to RSSI/LQ? What'd you set it to? If you're having an issue with this aux channel setup, the first thing you got to do is you got to go back to your telemetry and you got to look at what your LQ actually is in the telemetry readout. That's how you should start. And then see if what you're seeing in the DJI goggle matches that. Replays FN wants to know, what goggles should I get for cinematic and freestyle flying? Replays, what audio system do you have? I mean, what video? I'm sorry. I'm trying to read comments and talk at the same time. What video system do you have? Is it analog? Is it DJI? What is it? Replays. Replays FN. Alec Dvornik. Alec Dvornik. Here is a link to the comment. If that other link was 404 or whatever, this link that I just posted goes to this comment, and here is the assets link, and that assets link will download a zip file that contains the targets that contain this code. Okay? Hopefully that helps you, Alec. Dvornik? I have a feeling I'm not pronouncing that right. Daniel Harmon wants to know, the link in the comment is broken. It isn't broken. I'm sorry, I shouldn't yell at you. It's not broken. Look, watch. Watch. Are you watching? Watch carefully. Boom. Look, right here. Do you see that it downloaded assets.zip? Here is the file. It's not broken. I don't know why you can't download it. I'm not disputing that you're having trouble downloading it, but the link is not broken. I've downloaded it 4 times now. The link is okay. Look right here. Is YouTube fucking up the links or something? No, I just clicked and it goes through. I'm sorry. I don't know why it's not working for you. I just clicked and it's going through, though. I don't know what to tell you other than that. Okay. It only works if you're logged into GitHub. Ah! Van Life says it only works if you're logged into GitHub. You need to have a GitHub account and log into GitHub. Okay, that's what's happening. So we can tell who here has a GitHub account and who doesn't. People are telling me that you need to sign into GitHub. Okay? You need to create a GitHub account. Let me try to sign out and see if it'll work. No, okay, that's it. You have to log in before you can download the assets. All right, thank you. I'm glad we solved that. Okay, sorry for yelling. I got a little frustrated when people are telling me the link doesn't work, and I'm like, sure, the link does work. Okay. Thank you for helping us sort that out. Appreciate that, guys. We haven't done super chats. I've been so distracted answering questions that I haven't done any super chats. Let's do those. Akabele14, thank you for a $2 super chat. My 5-inch is having prop wash when I drop the throttle. Yeah, that's what when prop wash happens. What should you do about it? How can you tune out prop wash? The first thing you got to do, Akabele14, is you have to make sure that the quad is mechanically sound. Make sure that there are no loose screws. Make sure that none of your frame plates are cracked. None of that stuff. Your flight controller is securely mounted and soft mounted and so forth. Okay? Once it's mechanically sound, the next thing you should do is, you should put Betaflight 4.3 on it, if at all possible, because it's one of the best flying Betaflights today. Then, you're going to want to make sure you have RPM filtering enabled. Okay? So if your ESC doesn't support RPM filtering, like you have a BL Heli S ESC, flash Blue Jay onto it. If you have BL Heli 32, then you're good to go. Okay. Now, at that point, what I would suggest you try, let me start up Betaflight here real quick. Okay. At that point, what I would do is I would go to PID tuning. I would go to filter settings. And I would start by disabling gyro low pass 2. I just turn that right off. As long as RPM filter is on, you can almost always do that safely. And I would go fly and see if my quad flew badly or if I had hot motors. Anytime you're turning off filtering, you just want to go a little bit at a time and see if your quad starts to the motors sound trilly, if the motors sound rough, if the quad starts going tick 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 like that. If the motors are hot, all these things mean you've gone too far. But I would start by turning off gyro low pass 2, and then I would work these filter sliders to the right. And I find that you can usually go to 1.2 or 1.3 without issue as long as your quad is mechanically sound, right? And once I got them to a point where, like if I raised them to 1.5 and the quad started to kind of behave badly, the motors sounded rough, maybe the motors were getting a little hot, I'd back it down a little bit. And I'd find the minimum amount of filtering I could get away with. Now, some people would say, well, why don't you turn off gyro low pass 1? Whoa, let's be reasonable here. Some people would say, what about turning off the D-term low pass? Some people might get away with that. In my experience, that's usually not enough gain for the risk. I could usually get a pretty good flying quadcopter with settings something like this. And then when I was done with that, we could go to the PID tuning tab. And usually, actually on Betaflight 4.3, the default PIDs are actually super good. It used to be on 4.2 that I would like raise the master multiplier or maybe raise the tracking and the D max. I got to tell you, on Betaflight 4.3, the defaults are actually really good for a lot of setups. But if you're getting a lot of prop wash oscillation, you could try cranking the D gain a little bit. Maybe. And see, and probably get a pretty good prop wash handling by following that general step. Obviously, this is not a PID tuning live stream tutorial, so. Why gyro LPF2 off, says Brandon Beans. Brandon, it's my opinion, and I think there are some other folks out there like Mark Spatz or Chris Rosser who agree with me, although I don't want to put words in their mouth if that's not accurate. But it's my opinion that if you have RPM filtering, you can probably turn off gyro low pass 2. and you're not going to get bad effects, bad results. So, Robin FPV, thank you for £5. Get Rotorite to buy the Hot One sauces, then you ask the cast technical questions. Wrong answers have to eat the next hot one. That's an interesting idea. I've seen other people do similar videos to that. I want to eat the Hot One sauces while people ask me questions. Right? Michael Rollins, why did you retire? If anybody out there could play Sean Evans and interview me while I got to eat Hot One sauces, it would be Michael Rollins. Michael Rollins, come out of retirement and do a Hot Ones episode with me. Who knows Michael Rollins' contact info? That would be awesome. Ciati says he'll do it. I believe it. The problem is that in order to really make this work, you need a really good interviewer. Sean Evans, Hot Ones would be nothing without Sean Evans and his to be fair, and his production team, who does incredible research into the guests. Sean is an amazing interviewer, and his production team is amazing at finding good, interesting questions that, that's why Hot Ones is so successful. And I've thought, well, should I do some version of that show? Would it be fun to interview people? And I'm like, no, I want to be the one eating the hot sauces and getting interviewed. And I just don't know who in FPV, who in the world is as good an interviewer as, who's the Irish fella with the talk show over in the UK? What the hell is his name? Graham Norton, one of the best talk show hosts and interviewers I've ever seen. Right up there with, I'll put him up there with Johnny Carson, maybe higher. And I would put Sean Evans up there with Graham Norton as an interviewer, just in the way he engages with his subject, the way he preps. I've always been so impressed with how good of an interviewer he is. So, anyway, I think Michael Rollins could do it. I think Henry Rollins could do it too. I don't want to see Why hasn't Henry Rollins done The Last Dab? Can you freaking imagine Henry Rollins eating hot sauces? Holy crap, with Sean Evans? Kids these days don't know who Henry Rollins is. Oh my God. That would be... I want to see Henry Rollins on... I want that more than almost anything I've ever thought of. Okay. Shrey Gupta, thank you for 100 rupees. FPV Hot Ones, hosted by JB. I want to be the one eating the hot sauces. Ankit Priyaj, thank you for 20 rupees. Ankit retracted their message. I'm going to guess it had something to do with my question about hot, spicy food. Ricky, thank you for a $2 super chat. Is RPM monitoring a thing anymore? Yes, and it is worth setting up, because without RPM monitoring, you can't do bidirectional D-shot and bidirectional you can't do RPM filtering without bidirectional D-shot. You need it. Daniel Harmon, yes, Henry Rollins from Black Flag. He also does spoken word shows and is super just thoughtful and intense, and a super. If you have never, Henry Rollins' spoken word is extraordinary. Not just in that he is an excellent storyteller, which he is, but in that he is a thoughtful, insightful student of the human condition. And just so enjoyable. And I can only imagine how great it would be to have the kind of insightful interviewer like Sean Evans asking deep questions and interesting questions of Henry Rollins. I think their energy together would be so cool. And then just Henry Rollins is such an intense guy. He is so intense. To have him then be eating the hot sauces and just going, blowing his head off why has that never happened? That's amazing. That's amazing. So I don't think Henry Rollins is a hot sauce guy. He is an intense person, but he strikes me as a person who's intense, not in a way like I'm going to drink and smoke and get high and modify my mind. He's like, I'm going to meditate and I'm going to go bench press 1,000,000 pounds. And then I'm going to get off that pump and I'm going to go journal for an hour. That's Henry Rollins, to my mind. Okay. Dugny. Did he do it? Oh, no! Did he do it? What? Oh, this is a dream come true! He did it! In 2017! Oh, wow, that was a long time ago. Wes Backyard! I know what I'm watching as soon as I'm done here. I didn't know. And I was like, oh, that would be so awesome. This is like Christmas. I wanted this so bad, and now I'm going to get it. That's amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Wes. Why didn't I Google it? How do I not know that he'd done it? I thought I'd seen them all. There you go. Wow. Thank you. That's so exciting. I'm not going to play it, Arrow Brat. I'm not going to do a reaction video because I don't want to get copy struck by First We Feast, just in case. Anyway. Dugny, thank you for a $5 super chat. I did a power loop. I overcorrected, crashed my drone, and blew up my battery, tore my VTX pin out, and snapped an arm on my first quad. Welcome to FPV, my friends. Consider getting a new frame. I don't know, if you blew your frame up, I mean, maybe it was a bad crash, but if you blew your frame up that much on one crash, maybe you need a tougher frame. Marcos Hack, thank you for $5 Canadian. Is Betaflight's ELRS 2.x for SPIRX compatible excuse me, with any TX ELRS 2.x version? Yes. The way Express LRS compatibility works is that major versions are compatible. So 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.5, 2. Whatever is all compatible. And all manufacturers are intercompatible with each other. So, Thomas and Stella Galanu, thank you for a €5 super chat. I have Diatone F35 and I have an issue. When I snap flip, sometimes the drone goes crazy and mixes roll. Any suggestions? Thomas and Stella, this is going to be very tough to troubleshoot just based on one message. So I'm going to do my best to give you my thoughts as to what might be wrong. But please understand that just asking one super chat question, there's no way I can definitively diagnose this. My first guess when you do a... Sorry about that. Oh, you didn't hear that. You didn't hear that. My first guess is that you've got a motor or ESC problem. So that when you do the snap flip, one motor, like, stalls. And as a result, you get some diagonal mixed in there. What I would do is I would get black box. I would get a black box log. And I would look for one motor surging at the end of the flip or roll during the sag. And that surging motor is the one that stalled. Okay? So that's how I would approach that problem. Stevens Box, thank you for a $5 super chat. Thanks for your email help. Love what you do. Thank you, Stevens Box, for the support. Creative Solutions, Digital Marketing, thank you for 10 HRK. And that is Croatian Kuna. I'm going to remember this. Go look at Rollins on Rogan. I don't know. How long ago was Rollins on Joe Rogan? If it was long enough ago, then I might be able to watch it. But Joe's gotten a little tough for me to watch. I do think that Joe Rogan and Henry Rollins probably vibe. How long ago was that? I do think they vibe. August, okay. I could probably watch Joe Rogan from 2018. And I do think Joe Rogan and Henry Rollins vibe. Yeah. I'm a big fan of Henry Rollins. Not his music. Not because I'm not a fan of his music, just because I never got into Black Flag or, I was never super into punk. I respect him as a musician and a professional, and he deserves all the credit he gets. I've just never personally been into punk and never listened to Black Flag. But I got to know him through his spoken word and was like, this guy's fucking amazing. Oh, excuse me. I'm swearing on stream. That's how much I love Henry Rollins. He's amazing. And I wish there was more of his spoken word. Maybe he's released new albums. So. Make it fly. Make it fly. We got you, man. We got you. We got answered. We got you covered. We're moving on, my friend. Okay. Bob H says, I want to get an action camera, but scared to break it. Any suggestions? Bob, there's two ways to approach this. One is you spend $50 or whatever it is, $100 on a Runcam 5 Orange. Runcam 5 Orange is a inexpensive, reasonably durable action camera that gives okay results. It's only $100. Only $100. Hey, that's cheap for an action camera today. And if when you break it, you just spend $100 and get another one. But they're pretty durable. Another way to go is you have more cash invested up front. But you go, assuming you're in America, which you may not be, but if you're in America, you go to Best Buy. You buy whatever you want, and you get the insurance. The insurance costs you $40 to $60. When the camera breaks, you break it back, you take it back, and they give you your money back. Except you don't get the insurance policy back. So basically, it costs you whatever the insurance policy costs every time you break the camera. So essentially, you're getting a new GoPro for $60. That's a deal that works for some people. Fitzflight says, can't believe Runcam Orange still being recommended. It has really low video bitrate. Fitzflight, the thing is, for $100, and for people who are just a hobbyist and want half decent video, the Runcam 5 Orange is widely beloved. There are a significant number of people, mostly people on a tight budget, who love the Runcam Orange. It's an absolute standout. And if you're the kind of person who wants high quality, high bitrate video, you look at the Runcam Orange and go, what is this trash? Why would you even look at this? It's just not for you. It's just not for you. So, Wes Backyard says, Best Buy doesn't refund you anymore. They send them in to get fixed, and it takes like 2 weeks to get a replacement. Yeah, I've noticed that happens more often. At the end of the day, so you might need to buy two. You can't necessarily walk out with the new camera that day. You're right. Wiscott wants to know, what frame do you suggest for beginners? Oh, interesting point. It's interesting you ask that right as we come to the 1 hour break on the stream. And the 1 hour break on the stream is when I take a minute to plug my pluggables. And my pluggables are all the different projects that I work on, like this, fpvknowitall.com, home of the ultimate FPV shopping list. Everything is better if you put the word ultimate in front of it, isn't it? You're looking for a frame for beginners? Go to the 5-inch freestyle page, and sure enough, frames. And here are suggested frames at various price points and capabilities for you to consider. What frame do you suggest? I suggest the TBS Source 1. There you go. Have we updated this? Why does this say DJI FPV? That's weird. Oh, we haven't updated to the V5. Dang it. We got to update that. Oops. Sold out. We got to update that to the V5. See, every time I come to this page, I find an edit I need to make. It is a full-time job keeping this page up to date. Okay, well, there we go. Yeah, that is the ultimate FPV shopping list. It's an easy way for you to support me because most of these links are affiliate links. And when you make a purchase after clicking that link, I get a little commission. I get a little taste. Jesus Christ, $27 for the Imperial. What's happening to the world? Jesus Christ. I'd also like to tell you about searchfpv.com. Searchfpv.com is a multi-store search engine that helps you find products that are in stock and comparison shop based on price. Like if I search for Bardwell, let's see what Bardwell products exist in these stores. We now have several stores outside the USA, and we're working on getting more. We got FPV24. That's in I think that's Germany. We got X-Flight. I believe that's Israel. Drone Authority in the UK, and more are coming online. It shows whether the product is in stock. It's not always 100% right, but we try to keep it up to date and keep it as correct as possible. Shows the price. And just help you cross-shop against different stores. Super, super helpful. I also want to tell you about Joshua Bardwell Livestream clips. Almost done with the pluggable section. Joshua Bardwell Livestream clips. If you don't get to watch every single part of every one of my live streams, you need to be subscribed to Joshua Bardwell Livestream clips, because Blunty goes through every one of my live streams, pulls out the best parts, and turns them into clips. Only the good parts of my live stream with none of the BS. You think that stuff at the beginning about Indian food is going to make it on here? No. It's got live stream clips and stuff from the news. The channel is Joshua Bardwell Livestream Clips, and I hope that you guys will subscribe to that. We just crossed over 5,000 subscribers, but I have 250,000 subscribers, so I feel like that number could be higher. So please check it out. All right. That's my pluggables. No Trello on the weekend, says Danzilla. Indeed. Do you need to disable ad blocker for affiliate links to work? No, Redudu, you do not. The affiliate links work. It's a part of the URL. So if you guys look, at the URL, do you see this @af equals 2 up here at the top? That's the affiliate code. And when that is present, I get credit for anything you buy in that session. Daniel Harmon wants to know, do you like dill in your tuna fish sandwiches or tuna melts? And I'm not going to answer that question because I don't know why, but I'm getting a vibe that this is kind of like the joke where you ask somebody, do you like Updog? And then when they reply, then the joke's on them. I have a feeling, or like, when South Park said, do you like fish sticks? And then accused Kanye of being a gay fish. I have a feeling that this question, there's an undertone here that I don't know why Daniel Harmon is that interested in my tuna. What makes you think I eat tuna sandwiches? Okay. Dominique Campdell, thank you for $5. Will you be doing a review of the 1S Walksnail VTX? I'd be interested in that. Zipperlips FPV, thank you for a $10 super chat. How soon till your ELRS 3.0 video comes out? How soon? 2 weeks ago? This is my ELRS 3.0 video right here. This is my full Express LRS 3. Maybe I should change the title. This is my full Express LRS video 3.0. Boom, right here. All the new stuff in Express LRS. Maybe I should change the title. Okay. Maybe that'll get more views. Yeah, it's already out. So enjoy. Joe Emmett, thank you for a $5 super chat. Just starting to upgrade from an Emax RTF kit. Would you recommend staying analog, DJI, or Walksnail? Joe, my pick right now would be DJI V2. That's the system I use the most, although I have access to all of the other systems. The main risk with buying DJI V2 today is the potential that at some point in the future, the Air unit and the Vista will not be available anymore. The goggles are a safe bet because the goggles are forwards compatible with the new Air unit, but the new Air unit is $300. The old one is $150, $160. That's a pretty big difference. So if you buy the V2 goggles today, then if at some point in the future the Vista and the Air unit go out of production, then you would be stuck buying the new Air unit, which isn't the end of the world, but is expensive. Between analog and DJI, I think that almost everybody who has tried DJI prefers it to analog, except that it's more expensive. If you can handle the cost, I think most people prefer it. The main exception to that would be racers who really, really need the low latency of analog and consistent latency of analog, and also analog works better with timing systems. So I still think if I was shopping today and if I was getting into FPV, if I had all the money in the world and was willing to spend $300 a pop on the new O3 Air unit, I might wait for that. But that's not currently available outside of the Avata, okay? In some time, they say in the October timeframe, maybe that'll get pushed. I don't know, that the O3 Air unit will be available. The O3 Air unit, the people who are testing the Avata have demonstrated that it has superior range and penetration to the original Air unit and Vista. The main drawback there is the cost. The DJI system, the V2 system, comes in at, it's under $500 for the V2 goggles now. They've dropped the price on the goggles. And the Air unit and the Vista is something like $160 with a good camera. It's a pretty good deal. They're damn near indestructible, and they have amazing performance. I feel like the risk that they will stop making them at some point in the future is worth the value proposition you get today. Now, why am I not recommending the walk snail system? The walk snail system is the same price as the DJI V2 system for the VTX and camera. It is more expensive for the goggles by over $100. And the durability of the walk snail VTX is nowhere near the DJI, and the performance of the walk snail VTX in terms of range, penetration, and image quality is nowhere near. The walk snail still doesn't do better on 1200 milliwatts than at 700. They still haven't figured out the issue with the amplifier or whatever it is, but when you crank the power on that thing, you don't get more range, and in some cases you get less range. So the walk snail, in my opinion, is only really usable at 700 milliwatts. Now, somebody out there is going to be like, what do you mean? I use it at 1200 milliwatts all the time. It's great. Maybe. But DJI just is always, it's just done, works. And the image quality and range is better. Walk snail could be better someday. And walk snail has some features that DJI doesn't have, like the full Betaflight OSD. Walk snail is responding to community requests in ways that DJI isn't. There are some things about walk snail that make people tolerate the fact that it has less range and penetration and worse image quality than DJI. But personally, I think that the DJI is the one I would pick today, based on all of those things. Unless you're on the tightest of budgets, in which case go analog. Analog is fine. Is it as good as DJI? No. Is it as good as walk snail? No. It's fine though. And if you want to spend $15 on a video transmitter and $100 on a set of goggles, only analog can do that for you. Thoughts on DJI listening to the community? Ooh, this will be a good one for the Livestream Clips channel. Does DJI listen to the community? Let's do a poll. Does DJI listen to the community? Yes or no? I'm going to put that poll up, and I'm going to let that poll run for about 5 minutes. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to give you my answer, but we're going to move on. Why recommend analog over HD0, Tom T? Yeah, where's HD0 in all that? So, analog versus HD0. Price. Analog is way cheap. HD0 is the same price as DJI, roughly. So, it's no competition there. Now, what about for racing? Why did I say that racers would go with analog over HD0? Especially because HD0 has gone out of their way to make their system compatible with racing timing systems. HD0 has made this ground station specifically for races that outputs both. HD0 is moving heaven and earth to make their system good for FPV pilots and especially good for racers. So why didn't I say, well, if you're a racer, you're clearly going to go HD0? The answer is the durability of the system. I don't think that the HD0 system is as durable as the analog system for racing. I know, I'm not going to name names because I'll let these people speak for themselves if they choose to. But I know some people who tried HD0 for racing, were initially really impressed, by the significantly better image quality, and HD0 does have better image quality than analog. If you think it doesn't, I disagree with you. I think I don't know what's, I don't think you're really looking at it. I don't know. But then these people started crashing and blowing up video transmitters, and we're like, oh, I see. And then they were like, okay, forget it. And they went back to analog. So, especially because an HD0 VTX is going to be $100. And an analog VTX could be $20, $25. Maybe it's an expensive one and it's $50. So, and as far as HD0 for everybody else, between the durability and the range, if you're a hardcore racer, I think you're going to go for analog because it's a little more durable and less expensive than HD0. And if you're a cruiser or freestyle pilot, I think you're going to care more about the resolution and range and penetration of DJI than the latency advantage of HD0. That's my take. HD0 is in a tough spot. The one thing that HD0 definitively wins at, which is low latency and smooth jitter-free frame timing, mostly matters to racers who also need very, very good durability, where HD0 doesn't deliver compared to analog. So it's tough. If HD0 could come out with a 2.5 watt video transmitter that was able to have comparable range and penetration to DJI, that would be a different situation. Because right now we've got, like, look at the frickin' Foxier Reaper 2.5 watt VTX. I've got one of those coming for review. If you're an analog pilot, would you take a 1,000 milliwatt HD0 that it's giving you, maybe it's giving you 1 watt of range compared to analog? Maybe a little less depending on your breakup in your antennas. Or you could go with a 2.5 watt Foxier Reaper. And sure, it's only an analog signal, but yikes! Right? It's tough. Let's see here. Let's take a look at this poll. Does DJI listen to the community? End poll. Yeah, I know there were better ways to frame that, but that's the question that was asked, and that's what we're going to go with. Does DJI listen to the community? Yes, 23%. No, 76%. I'll give you my answer. My answer is that yes, DJI does listen to the community. But wait. DJI listens to the community. I know that they do because I've talked to people, and I don't talk to a huge number of people inside DJI. In fact, lately I don't talk to anybody at DJI. They don't talk to, they don't seem to talk to me right now. I don't know why. Maybe it's because anyway. I'm a terrible reviewer from a manufacturer's perspective. I would like to say that I have never missed a DJI deadline. I have always I've always hit their release dates. But I have a feeling that the relationship that we had was not as my beard. But I've had enough conversations with people who are in contact with DJI that I know for a fact that they are aware of all of the things that people are saying about them. And despite the fact that FPV is a tiny, tiny community compared to their larger market, they are an enormous company. And there are lots of FPV pilots and FPV enthusiasts who work for DJI and who know everything we say about them and everything we want from them. So in that respect, DJI absolutely does listen to the community. They listen. But it's kind of like if your partner is saying, listen, I'm going to need you to go to the grocery store. I'm going to need you to pick up A, B, C, milk, eggs, bread. Are you listening to me? And I go, yeah, I'm listening. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to the grocery store later, though. DJI is listening. They don't necessarily act on the things that they're hearing, and that gives the impression that they're not listening. But the problem is that DJI is a gigantic company, and it's not like there's just one guy who goes, listen, FPV community wants Betaflight OSD. Make it happen. That doesn't exist. It's a huge company. Decision making is necessarily cumbersome. There are many, many stakeholders. And the kind of people who could snap their fingers and say, make it happen, they're high up enough that they are not really aware of FPV in the way that we want them to be. And so, if by do they listen, do you mean are they aware of what we want? Yes, they listen. If by do they listen, do you mean do they give us what we want? Yeah, not always. Oftentimes not. That's my take on it. Okay. Marcine Operat, thank you for 100,000 IDR. What is an IDR? It is a Indonesian rupiah. Thank you for 100,000 of them. That is a huge number of rupiah. Thank you, Henry Rawlings, for $2. That's definitely not how you spell Henry Rollins' name. Lewis, thank you for a $5 super chat. I ripped the connector off my GoPro 10 bones. All it left behind was some pins. How would you try to get this working again? Oh, man. Oh, I would use my insurance policy. Yeah. I would use the insurance that you definitely got, right? When you bought the camera. You bought the insurance, right? That's the whole point of buying the Hero 10 Bones, is that you can buy the insurance. Please tell me you got the insurance. Okay, so if you didn't get the insurance, you can solder wires to the pins. The problem is you're going to break the pins off or yank the pins off. So you got to find some way to like secure the wire. I don't know, man. It's possible to solder a new connector on in some world. I would just hope you had the insurance. It is repairable. You could try to solder wires on. Stevens Box, thank you for a $5 super chat. Can you point me in the right direction to learn more about black box data, how to access required software, etc.? UAV Tech has some suggestions. Let me start you here. Stevens Box. UAV Tech has some really good tutorials about black box. Let me start you there. That's where I would start you. Daniel Dinter, thank you for a €5 super chat. I came late. Official new air unit with big cam. Compatible with my V1 goggle? No. Only compatible with the V2 goggle, but not the V1, I believe. Is that correct? Can anybody confirm that for me? I believe that's the case. Tom Weich, thank you for a $5 super chat. Josh effing Allen. Yes, indeed. I don't know what that means. You can buy GoPro insurance after the fact, says Mo. So you could buy the insurance right now. And then claim it. Okay. Anybody notice I'm not coughing today? First live stream with no coughing since I got sick with that disease that will not be named. Let's see. I got sick on, I think, July 30th was my first day I was actually sick. Yeah, July 30th. August 30th. September 11th. Jeez. 6 weeks. 6 weeks and I'm finally not coughing. Oh, man. How about that? Joseph Dawson, 100,000 Indian rupees might be 1,000 USD. 100,000 Indonesian rupiah is not 1,000 USD. Or I would be way more excited. I broke my goggles with this new XT60 Bardwell cable, says Jan Doodle. Tell me more, Jan. How did that happen? I'm very interested to hear more about that. One of the conditions that I was concerned about with that goggle was with some other cables, if the voltage regulator failed, it would pass battery voltage through to the goggle and fry them. So I one of the design requirements that I requested was that if the system failed, it would fail 0 volts. In other words, if the regulator failed, it would not pass VBAT through and fry your goggles. So I'd be curious to know how you broke your goggles with the cable. If there's a failure mode, I definitely want to know about it. That's for sure. Rob Groove, thank you for a $5 super chat. I have multiple DIY drones and one DJI FPV potato. I'd like to WTFPV hack my goggles. Will it still work with the potato? Yeah, Rob, so you have to root the goggle before you upgrade to the 0015 firmware. So then once they're rooted, you're good to go. Will my new cable power the new DJI goggles? I don't see why not. It's going to output 9 volts. The goggles work on, well, it's going to output 2S voltage. The goggles, I think, should work on 2S voltage. And it outputs 2 amps, which is plenty for the goggles, I assume. Is the connector the same? I don't know for sure. I'm pretty sure it's just a standard 2.5 by 5.5 barrel jack. $661 FPV, you are correct. The DJI goggle is 6S rated, so the power cable is not, strictly speaking, needed. That is correct. The question was, will it work? Not, is it needed? Yeah, it will work. MDK420 says the new goggles have a different plug. Is that true? Like I said, I haven't seen them yet. I haven't got them yet. Can I just see that? It's not going to be here. People are telling me it's a different connector. Can I just find that? No, not the goggles. DJI, you absolute... could you name your... Why would you name your product so stupid? No, I don't want a comparison. Honestly, this is the surest sign that your product is badly named. I want to buy the DJI goggles too. No, that's not the first result. The first result is the FPV goggles 2. Where is it? Do you see? Where is DJI.com? DJI goggles 2. DJI is not the first result for a search for their own product using their own name. This is a terrible name for this product. It's a terrible name for this product. Nope, wrong one. I don't buy that, Ciati. The DJ, they haven't Google hasn't indexed it yet. I don't buy that. Camera drones, handheld, specialized. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? You know what? They don't have the goggles. That's it. They don't have the goggles as a separate. That's it. It's the Avata. They don't have the goggles as a separate product. That's the problem. That's why it's not working. Stupid. That's why it's not. Okay. Fine. Where's the goggles? Can I see the goggles? No. Where's the goggles? Is it the combo? Can I see it? Oh, hallelujah. Where's the power cable for the goggles? I mean, that looks to me like the same connector. Am I wrong? Is that wrong? Is that not right? That looks to me like a standard barrel connector. Right? Doesn't it? Is it a different connector? People are saying it's not. Fair enough. People are saying it's a different size connector. Okay, well, congratulations, DJ. I don't know why you would do that. That's stupid. Why would you just break compatibility with everybody else's power cord? Why wouldn't you use... Anyway, all right, fine. Joseph, the standard for polarity on a barrel plug is the inside is positive and the outside is negative, but you can't assume that that is always going to be true. So... I'm being told that the barrel jack is not the same, so the JB power cable won't work. Bill Caravio, thank you for a $5 super chat. Backwards compatibility for the Vista's air units being as far out as December sounds like a V2 of the goggles too. Any thoughts? I doubt that. I don't see why they would. I mean, they haven't even released the goggles as a standalone product. I don't think they're going to do a hardware upgrade. I just think they're going to do a firmware update. But I could be wrong. Alrighty. It's the same for the Fat Shark Dominator. Let's see what happens if I search for Fat Shark Dominator. Oh, whoops. Dominator V3. Dominator V3. Dominator. Dominator HDO2. Dominator HD. Dominator HD. That's not the official name. Dominator V1. Way to go. HDO3 Dominator. Way to go. How about this? Fat Shark Dominator Manual. Okay. I want the manual for the new digital goggle. Is this it? No. No. Oh, what about this one? No. Oh, how about this one? No. Oh, how about here? We'll go to Fat Shark's website. Well, let's see. Dominator V2. Is that it? Dom V3, Dom V3, Dom V3. Huh. These must be newer. Because the new goggle that just came out is the Dominator. And here's the Dominator V2. Wow, they've released a V2 of their digital headset already? Oh, they're up to V3. Oh, I see. They are using... Wait, here's the Dominator. Now, here's the Dominator HD. This must be Fat Shark's new digital goggle, the Dominator HD. No, wait. No, it isn't. How about the Dominator HD 2? Is that their new digital goggle? No. Oh, well, we've got a Dominator HD 3 here. Is that it? No. Where's the manual for their new Dominator goggle? The new digital goggle that was just released. Where is it? I don't know. I can't find it. I'm dying. I'm dying here. I'm dying. Oh, it's the Dominator. Hey, everybody. The Dominator's here. Not this one. Not that one. Not that one. Oh, the Dominator. Of course. That's what I was looking for. Where's the manual? Where's the manual? Where is it? Oh, maybe it's here. Well, oh, Dominator. Dominator. Oh, the manual. I finally found it. My point, I know how to find this. I've gone through this too many times. I know how to find this. My point is, I said to Drew, and Drew didn't make this decision, for the record. I was whining to him, so I'm not trying to lay this on him. This was Walk Snail and Fat Shark, and Drew works for Rotoride. It's not even the same company. I said to Drew, Fat Shark already has a Dominator goggle. They've already got a Dominator HD. Why would you name this? Why would they name this the Dominator? And he said, man, a lot of people are getting into FPV. They don't even remember the Dominator. And I'm like, yeah, but Google remembers. When I search for Fat Shark Dominator, Google remembers that there have already been 7 different goggles with this name. And it presents the results. And it's flippin' confusing to your customers who cannot understand why there are 17 different products all named Dominator, including one of them that's a digital HD goggle, but that's not the Dominator HD, because the Dominator HD came out 5 years ago with an HDMI input. It's just the Dominator. Okay, enough. I could legitimately whine about this for 20 more minutes, but I'm not going to. That's definitely going up on the Livestream Clips channel. And then you could email it to Fat Shark and be like, what's your effing problem? Why would you do this? Okay. Moving on. The goggles, too, only support 11 volts max, says Mads Tech. That's why they changed the connector. I don't understand why the voltage that's on the barrel. It's a standard barrel plug. It's used for anything from 12 volts to 24 volts and up. That doesn't make any sense. The original the original DJI battery pack output 9 volts. I don't understand why they would change it. Hey guys, let's pull up some pictures of the Fat Shark Dominator. Oh, huh. Wow. Amazing. Look at all these goggles. But Madstech, the XT60 cable can work with a 3S battery. You could use any if you're going to use an XT60 input, you need to... Oh, anyway. It's silly. It's silly. I mean, it probably will save some people from blowing their goggles. You're probably right. Fat Shark is not allowed to make any more goggles named Dominator. Fat Shark! Fat Shark! Think of a new product name! This is Fat Shark brainstorming their new product. Hey guys, we got a new set of goggles coming out. What do you think we should call it? Anybody? No, I want to go around the horn. Dominator? No, now listen. Anybody got anything other than Dominator? Dominator 2? No, we're not calling the new goggles the Dominator. Now listen, I know you like that word. We got to come up with another name for our product. Dominator? No, that's just, you're just saying Dominator, but you're pronouncing it differently. Now what is it going to be? Somebody get a thesaurus out. Get a thesaurus. Somebody help me out here. What if we called it the Overdog? The Subjugator. That's your new... Okay, Fat Shark. Fat Shark. Your new goggle is now going to be named the Subjugator. Okay, fair enough? Got it. Subjugator. I know you like this word. You have to come up with a new name for your product. This is Fat Shark's new product. This is it right here. From now on, every time Fat Shark comes up with a new goggle, they just pick a new word off this list. Okay? The finalist. The Fat Shark finalist. That sounds good. The Fat Shark beater. No, we got to stay away from that one. The Fat Shark conqueror. The Fat Shark subduer. The Fat Shark trimmer. I don't know about that. Fat Shark. You just sit down and you come up with a name for your product. You don't have to use the same name forever. Why? Why? After all these years, have they named all their goggles the Dominator? Why? They had the Predator. They had all kinds of goggle names, and then one day, she's like, I don't know, fuck it, call it the Dominator. Hey guys, we got a new goggle. I don't know, the Dominator. Okay, we already used that. The Dominator 2. Anybody who wants to go ask him what the new goggles should be named? He's gonna say Dominator. Should we just look? Let's do this. Let's just call it the Dominator V3, and we'll tell him. Okay, sir, we're thinking of calling the new goggles the Dominator 3. That's good. It's good. Sounds good. Dominator 3, go with it. Oh, man. We can't call the next one the Dominator 4. Well, I say this now, not 8 weeks ago. Believe me, I said it 8 weeks ago, too. You just missed it. I'm sorry. I said I was going to move on. Apparently I wasn't. I look forward to seeing how Blunty edits this down into something that isn't just 30 minutes of me ranting. Because that's too much. That's too much. Will the new OLED burn in if you leave them in the sunlight? Yes. Yes, absolutely. Oh, man. I'm not killing time, Fun for Bolt. This is the live stream. This is it. You're watching the whole live stream. I'm not killing time. I'm just having... This is what me having a good time looks like. I'm thoroughly enjoying riffing on this. This is the only thing I have cared about all week. My son had a birthday. Didn't care. No, I can't. I'm joking. This is it. This is it. Okay. Bill Caraview. We got you, Bill. We're caught up on Super Chats. Yeah. Dominator. All right. Hi, I'm from Walksnail. Yeah, so Fat Shark, we've got a new goggle coming out. And we're going to be calling it the Avatar. So we were thinking we'd call it the Walksnail Avatar. You call it the Fat Shark Avatar. You know, it's kind of like not Michael Bay. You know, the Avatar, the guy with the, it's the Avatar goggles. You're in a VR experience. We think it's a good name for a product. I must call it Dominator. Oh, okay, you call yours the Dominator. That's fine. Sky. James Cameron. All right. It's 2:47. We got any more questions? Or is this it? We're just going to rant about this for the last 45 minutes of the stream. Can I add video feed to my TX16S screen? Evil Genius FPV wants to know. Evil Genius, I have asked Radio Master for this. Every so often, Radio Master comes to me and says, hey, any ideas for, new things to improve about the TX16S? Just what are your thoughts? And I say, analog video on the screen. And they say that the way that the screen driver works, it would be prohibitive to do that. So no, it is something I've asked for. It is apparently not simple, and it's not going to happen. So there you go. Lionel Hemery, the Insta360 Go 2 is pretty solid. It has good video and it has okay video and good stabilization. Why am I so down on DJI's latest? The Avata? I'm not down on the Avata. I just don't really fly DJI drones very much. They're not very interesting to me. I'm not down on it. It's just not that it's not my thing. I think it's an amazing drone if that's what you want out of your drone. Shrai Gupta says, my Luminaire 60 amp ESC says 45 amps on the silk screen under the heatsink. Also, the MOSFETs are of a lower current rating. Is this common? Shrai Gupta, it's probably a 45 amp ESC that when you put a heatsink on it is uprated to 60 amps. Shrai, the 60 amp, the heatsink is helping to dissipate heat, which means that it has a higher amp rating. That's the most charitable guess as to what's going on there. As far as the MOSFETs being of a certain current rating, I can't really comment on that. I don't really know about that. Jan Doodle says he's down about not being selected. Here's the thing. I am not super interested in, maybe this is why DJI doesn't send them to me. I am not like using DJI drones on a daily basis. I have owned DJI drones. When I owned them, I found that I mostly didn't feel like using them. I mostly felt like flying my FPV drones. Oh, yeah, that's probably why they don't send me product. Yeah, I guess that's probably got something to do with it. They want people reviewing their drones who really want to use them. If they said, we want to include you in the release of the DJI Avata, for example, I would say absolutely, I'm happy to be on board. Because I know that my viewers want to see me review that product. And I would give it a wholehearted, professional approach and do a review of it. The best review I could possibly do. And I would get a shitload of views. Because that's how it works with DJI product releases. That doesn't change the fact that as soon as the review is over, I would probably give the drone away or sell it. Because at the end of the day, I know that I just don't tend to use DJI drones as much as I like to use FPV drones. So I'm not salty that they didn't give me one. I'm just like, okay, I'm just getting on with my life and doing my content. If they did give me one, I would probably respect my relationship with my viewers enough that I would do it. Because, I mean, there's a balance when you have a YouTube channel between doing what you're most interested in and doing what your audience wants to see you do. And I'm interested in the product. I would be interested to see how the new video system works, since that's coming to FPV. And I sure would like to get a video with 150,000 views and, plus 200 subscribers or some shit like that. But since they didn't send me one, I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'm not that interested. And I wouldn't be any more interested if they gave me one. But as a professional, I would take it seriously. Ghost Branch asks, with the new DJI O3 cam being at about Action 2 quality and fully compatible with GyroFlow, will many freestyle pilots ditch action cams completely? Ghost Branch, I think that some people are going to do that. Personally, I don't think that the Action 2's image quality is enough to satisfy me. And I bought 4 Hero 8s. I've talked about this previously. I bought 2 Action 2s, tested them out, and decided at the end of the day I just wasn't happy with the image quality and ended up going with Hero 8s. So I would probably still run a Hero 8 over but the weight savings can't be denied. And many people don't care as much about image quality and would love to save that weight. Ciati points out that many people are currently running just the DJI system without an action camera at all. And I mean, I almost would rather have the camera from the DJI system than the DJI Action 2. I think it has better image quality. Preston Jeter, thank you for a $5 super chat. It says, I'm traveling to Europe from the U.S. next year. Should I know or be aware of anything transporting the drone there? Preston, I don't know about the regulations involved when flying in Europe. As far as traveling, you need to have your batteries at storage voltage, and you need to carry the batteries on. Don't put them in your check bag. The batteries have to be less than 100 watt hours, which for typical FPV batteries, they're nowhere near that. They're usually around 20, 25 watt hours, so that's fine. There's no limit on the number of batteries, at least in the US there isn't. So I would take a look at the regulations about batteries, but it's mostly the batteries you have to worry about and not the drone. Once you get there, I personally would be very hesitant to fly in a foreign country if I didn't have somebody, a native of that country, there to sort of hang out with me and give me the read on where you can and can't fly. Jekyll? I never know how to say your name. Thank you for a $5 super chat. Give us the full 30-minute rant, Blunty. Just make chapter marks and don't cut anything. I'm sure he'll do a good job on it. Super Deluxe, thank you for a $10 super chat. Have you seen the Hero 11 mini renders? Any thoughts? Yeah, Super Deluxe, we covered this on the news last Tuesday. The Hero 11 mini, very exciting. However, I can't help but think that its weight is actually pretty close to a Hero 7. So you're basically getting Hero 11 video quality for the weight of a Hero 7, which is nice, but I'm still excited to hear more about the new Session 6, which I am assured is a real thing and is coming. Looney3Y 2010 says, in the EU, the drone has to be registered and you've got to have a certificate to fly. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know enough about EU regulations to tell you whether it's even worth bringing your drones, but you should absolutely look into that. So, let's see here. Tom Z. Borrell wants to know about the low frequency noise in their black box log. The first thing I want to know, Tom, is this, I can't see because it's cut off, is this gyro scaled? I think this is gyro scaled. Tom, this low frequency down here is not noise. I think you may know this, but I'm just going to say for the people who are watching. This low frequency down here is not noise. It is the actual movement of the copter. Down from about 20 to 50 hertz, that's the actual motion of the copter that we actually care about and is not noise, and you don't need to worry about that. So then the only thing I see that could be low frequency noise is this. Why am I not? Sorry, guys. The noise, this is not noise. This is the actual movement of the quadcopter. The only other thing I see that could be noise is this, but that's so low magnitude, I don't think I would worry about it. I think this is if this is gyro scaled, this is an exceptionally clean quadcopter and you have nothing to worry about. Okay. 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 What can you say about the value of the RunCam 5 Orange at 120 euros versus the Action 2, which only costs 250 euros? That's tough. That's tough. That's tough. The Action 2 has better stabilization built in, but the Orange works with gyroflow. I just hate the Action 2's exposure algorithm so much. It's so bad. It's almost a deal breaker to me. I don't know. Tom Z. Borrell, you have to be looking at gyro scaled, not gyro filtered. Gyro scaled is where you have to start. You really can't know very much about your quad by looking at the filtered gyro data. So here's gyro scaled. And again, this is super clean. Your motor noise is down around 230 hertz. Now I'm going to guess. You said you were doing the basement PID tune. I'm going to guess that's because you're not raising the throttle very much. Yeah, we can see here you're barely raising the throttle. So your motor noise is at a lower frequency. If your motor noise was normally around 240 hertz, I'd be surprised. But overall, there's just no vibration whatsoever. I would want to see some full throttle punches to really judge, but there's nothing that I see here that is in any way problematic. That's what I say. Can you remap a motor output on an 8-motor ESC to use a servo? Almost certainly yes, Dennis Matovich. Almost certainly yes. John Goblin, I last flew the Action 2 maybe 2 months ago before my trip to Portland. It was on the latest firmware. I thought the results were very bad. We're not very good. I just don't think there's a lot they can do to fix the dynamic range with firmware, but I could be wrong about that. I thought it was bad. I mean, maybe they made it better. I'm pretty sure I was on the latest firmware. That's the first thing I do when I get a camera is update the firmware. But here's the thing. The Action 2 is super durable, and some people aren't as bothered by the exposure and dynamic range as I am. It's super tough. You break the screen, and then nothing else breaks forever. So there's a lot to like about it. It's super tough. It's lightweight. It's a good camera if you can deal with the dynamic range and the exposure algorithm. And it is, oh my God, it's 3:01. I've totally missed the end of the stream. So Aaron Ciotti is going to be streaming. He's posting the link to his stream. And that is it for me. Thank you guys for coming out. I will see you. It would be better if the Action had gyroflow capability, for sure. Everything's better with gyroflow. We're gonna wrap up, and I'm gonna let Aaron Ciotti go stream. Happy flying, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. for the Monday night stream. Bye, everybody.